this administration's anti-business policies? What about ObamaCare? The Clinton crowd doesn't want any of this stuff. Let's talk. I think we have, let's see, Think Progress. God, that's a new one. Think Progress. Deputy Editor Igor Volsky. CNBC contributor Jennifer Rubin. Republican pollster John McLaughlin. All right. I really believe this. His message is so bad, and it is so hostile to business and Wall Street, that Bill Clinton is leading his people out of prison and into a new promised land, which is not Obama's election. That's my take, Jennifer Rubin.
Well, it's certainly possible, and we see not only from the people that Robert mentioned, but congressmen also from Pennsylvania, from West Virginia. I think North Dakota was the last one to say they're not going. Never before, it's not since Legionnaire's disease, have so many people left a convention. So I think this is an endemic problem. Democrats in swing states or in swing districts who want to get reelected cannot associate themselves too carefully with the president. That's going to be an awful lot of finger-pointing and an awful lot of Democrats in these states who have other engagements when the president comes to town.
They're not even, what did I read? Senator Claire McCaskill has been a guest on this show. She ain't even going to the convention.
That's right.
She's not even going to the convention. Igor, you got yourself a problem. You're going to have an even bigger problem come Thursday. When that Obamacare mandate is rolled back, Democrats who voted for that darn thing are going to run for the hills. I'm not saying run a block or two. I'm not saying going out to drink for a bar. They are going to run to the nearest mountainside to stay away from Obama.
Well, you know, I've always said that if the court looks at precedent, it will uphold the law. Hopefully we'll see that on Thursday. But it's very hard to argue in general that somehow the economy has been bad for corporations or for rich people, for big donors, when corporate profits are at an all-time high.
Yeah, but they won't spend
CEO
them.
pit at an all-time high.
But
they're doing well. The guys at the top are doing well. It's the guys at the bottom who are stagnating. And those are the folks who need help, not the guys at the top.
You know, let me tell you something, my friend. I spent a lot of time on Wall Street in the financial world, and I spent a couple years here at CNBC reporting. When the wives of the successful husbands get sick and tired of the president insulting the husbands, you got a problem.
But they're doing so well. They're doing well better than they were doing before the recession. Better than in 2006.
That if someone's doing well, someone else is getting screwed. It's zero-sum society. You can't have people doing well and other people doing well. It's all a closed circuit.
John McLaughlin, what do your numbers show? What does your numbers show? You're advising all these guys. Am I on to something that a good chunk of the Clinton moderate former DLC, Democratic Leadership Council wing, that was pro-business, pro-Wall Street, are leaving the party? They won't even finance this convention in North Carolina. They won't even finance a 3-day convention. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, they're losing the first election. And that's when people vote with their support. And then the Democrats see an austerity convention in Charlotte where they can't even pump stimulus into it. So what's happening is, and Charlotte, I've got a Republican, Robert Pittenger, who'll be the next congressman from down there. Remember, in May, North Carolina voted 60% for a marriage amendment. So their values are totally out of touch. North Carolina would go for Romney today, and the Democrats are less in play there when they start doing this. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, we released a survey, the YoungGunsNetwork.org. They've got a survey out there. 58% of the people want this decision repealed on Obamacare.
58%.
58%. And you know what? 57% favor a step-by-step approach where they want Congress to do it after the election. They just overreached. A third of Americans are paying more on their health care right now, and they blame Obamacare, and 92% have health care of the people who are going to vote.
Yeah, John, but you look inside those numbers, you see when you talk about provisions, things that are already in effect, people like the popular provisions, not
they only like two things. They like pre-existing conditions, but they want a market solution. They don't want a government mandate, and 73% oppose the government forcing them to pay.
You know, we can take care of those parts.
73%.
But John, all Republicans talk about personal responsibility. That's what we're talking about. Over-responsibility.
Igor, you can take care of that without having the government take over 16% of the economy.
It's not taking
you can
over
take
the
care
economy.
of that.
It's a private system.
It's worse, and after that, they're going to take over another 16%. What happens, Jen, politically? What happens after the mandate is rolled back on Thursday. Now, I know I'm getting ahead of it. I know I could be wrong. I have many times in the past
You'll be
been wrong.
surprised.
But let me say, what happens? What's the first thing that happens if the mandate is rolled back?
Well, if the mandate is rolled back and the rest of the bill isn't, there is a huge economic problem. You cannot pay for this without the mandate. Remember, the purpose of the mandate was to sort of herd all of the healthy young people into the system in order to balance out the older and the sick people. You take away that mandate, and this is through the roof in terms of the cost.
So a second legislative battle, and of course the election with Obama and Romney, that's really all going to start all over again. Businesses are not going to know what the hell's going to happen.
And the taxes are going to be left, the medical device tax, the super tax on Medicare is going to start all over again. It's going to be kind of a mess, and the Republicans are going to have a very strong argument.
A lot of people are going to
just clear the debts.
People who have coverage now, children with pre-existing conditions.
The Republicans
I